Hi, Sandra. Are you on the line?
Hi, Joy. Can you hear me?
I can. I can hear you. How are you doing?
Great, great, good. We're doing good, Joy. I have our senior technician here, and then I also have our service manager here. So we're all here, and we're excited to see kind of maybe you can share some more information about what the program can do. We've used it for a couple of days now.
Okay. Okay. So, Sandra, tell me who's all in the office there with you.
Yeah. Do you want to close the door behind you? Our service technician is here. He's actually also one of the owners, and our senior service tech, one of the owners as well, and our service manager is here.
Okay. And I'm sorry. Can I get a name? Do you mind?
Sure. So Emilio, which is out on the field, and one of the owners, and then also Michelle, which is our service manager.
Okay. So Emilio and Michelle and Sandra. Perfect. Well, welcome, everyone. How are you guys all doing today?
Good, thank you.
Doing good.
Good, good. Do you mind if I ask where you're based out of?
Yeah, we're in California. We're in Fremont, just about an hour away from San Francisco.
Okay. All right. The Fremont area. I'm actually familiar with that. I went to school down in Santa Cruz, actually Scotts Valley. If you're familiar with Santa
Okay, nice.
might know where Scotts Valley is.
UC Santa Cruz?
No, I know. Everybody's like, oh, UC. No, I didn't go there. I went to a small private college in Scotts Valley.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. Anyway, so I'm familiar with that area a little bit. Had a lot of friends that were actually from that area.
Nice.
Okay, so can you see my screen okay?
We do, yes.
Okay. So I'm going to just minimize this to get it out of the way, just so we can kind of look at what we're doing here. And okay, so let's talk a little bit about field service management and some of its functionality, as well as some of the different services. Now, did you say that you've been using it for a few days?
Yeah, we have a demo, and this is day 2 of the demo, and we do have some questions around it, some things that we hope we just haven't had a chance to learn how to use, but we hope can be done.
Okay.
Right. So I don't know if you want us to start maybe with some of our questions, or if you wanted to show us a couple of things, or how you wanted to go about the session here.
Okay. Well, so let me ask you this. Before you got it, did you watch any of the demos like on the website?
Yeah, we watched the 15-minute demo.
Okay. Okay. So what I can, if it's okay with you, what I'll do is just explain a little bit of the functionality of the different screens at first.
Okay.
And then I'll kind of stop there and go, okay, so here's, and kind of do a traditional demo, but obviously we want to be able to get to your questions. But it may be that some of your questions are answered as we're going along.
Good. Okay, sounds good.
Good. Okay. All right. So when you sign into Field Service Management, this is kind of what the face of it looks like. You've got quite a bit of information here that's at your fingertips, and I'll just kind of show you a little bit about it. There's all kinds of ways to filter and find information in QuickBooks. One of the ways you can do that is we have this Find section here. So you can look for customer name, address, person name, invoice number, and then there's this More down here if you need to search it by like service location or other information. You have over here a drop-down menu, which is like the last 5 to 10 items that you looked at. So that's a nice feature if you accidentally clicked off of something you need to get back, or they call back right away, you can get back in there. Okay, nice. Obviously, we have our tabs for our different areas of field service management. There's different ways that you can view field service management as far as in the colors. I've chosen the colorful setting, which is found in the settings, because to me it clearly defines the tabs, and I'm happy to show you where that is a little later, especially if you're working in a demo. So yours might be like all blue or all green.
Yeah, so that was one of the first things that I noticed was the colorful tabs, which
is this all colorful, right? So that's actually in the settings, and yeah, I'd be happy to show that to you. In fact, why don't we just go there right now and take care of that. So in the settings tab, since we're kind of heading in that direction, this is where you come in and customize everything. The thing about field service management is it's amazing because it's highly customizable. But what that means is if you don't know how to do that, then you can put yourself in a position where you're not really capturing the information that you need to capture. So spending some time working with one of the pro advisors on this helps, because then you can go ahead and lay it out the way that you want it to be laid out. So this first section, you've got all kinds of different things that you can set up. Priorities, if you're going to sort it by skills. So like if you have jobs that need to have master HVAC person versus an apprentice, you can do that. Anyway, there's just a lot of information in here. Your service area is where you're going to do the majority of your customization, because you're going to start setting up where the teams are, what the areas are, and then again, the big one is the model your business, because this is where you put your packages together. Okay. So getting into how to change the appearance, that's the colorful under company appearance. I told you I'd show you that. So okay. Normally, I think the standard is kind of a blue, a grayish, yeah, kind of a light blue grayish. And then they have their full blue. And I mean, that's kind of cool. But I like the white on there. So that's helpful. But I really like the colorful.
Okay, nice.
I can tab so easily.
Okay, yeah, so, no, they stand out a little bit more that way.
I think so too. I think so too. In here is where you can see that you can upload your logo. So your business logo can be right on your field service management page right there. You also have like your subscription details. So it'll come in here and show you how many login licenses you have, how many are unused. So that information's there. Also, you can go in here and change your company name every day if you want to. I'm just kidding. You probably don't want to do that. But there's a lot of different things in here. The biggest thing for the field is these mobile settings. What do I want to show up on a work order? So all of this is customizable. So you'd have to know what you want to see and what order you want to see it in. Maybe you don't invoice in the field, and then in which case we're not going to show our invoices. So these are the kinds of things that we go over with you when we do training. We actually spend some time actually setting it up, and it's normally a couple-hour meeting, depending on how many questions you have, and then you guys do the work. I mean, I can come in and do it. So the way we work with it is I've done everything from coming in, flying in for the week, setting up the whole system myself, and then training the people and going live, to remotely doing training, a couple hours at a time, so that way you can, put it together on yourself. And so there's a lot of different packages that we offer.
Okay, great. Great.
Okay, let's get back to the basics of the field service management. So there's 4 steps to start a work order. You probably already figured that out. I'm going to create one just so we can talk about what it, and this may answer some of your questions. So you can see that Pizza Hut is one of my favorite customers. I'm going to go ahead and put in just a few letters, and then I can go ahead and pull them up. Down here, you're going to see the different service locations I have. So this is coming over from your customer list in QuickBooks. So you have your customers and then your jobs underneath. So I have more than one Pizza Hut I work with. I have the Corvallis location and I have the Tigard location. And then if I was to do an install in particular, then I would have like a job number that would be even a 3rd level down. So field service management will support up to 3 levels on that.
Okay.
So in this
the
particular
way that our QuickBooks file is set up currently is like, for example, we deal with a lot of property management companies. We're one property management company. All of the billing goes to that property management company, but they have different apartment communities throughout the Bay Area. And so those are jobs under the customer. And that is going to, when we sync the QuickBooks file, that's going to come over exactly. That's going to turn into sites in this field service management software?
Correct. So the jobs equal sites or service locations. So that's exactly what this is. So Corvallis number 3321 is a job under Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut is the parent, and so all of the bills and invoices can be sent there, but it is going to be at the location of Corvallis.
The only little kind of hiccup that I saw there was that it's not going to send the contact information, correct? So every time you select Corvallis or or say even your Tigard location, it's not going to automatically take over the contact information, that the on-site contact information. Is that correct?
But let me answer that by showing you.
Okay.
So I'm going to select Corvallis. So right now I don't have a main contact specified for the Corvallis location. Okay. So if I didn't have a main contact, what I can do here is I can put other in and put in information, or if I know that Jeff is a contact for them, I can have this memorized in this information. So how that affects QuickBooks is if you have a contact that is, let's say, your AP contact, that's your main one, that person will be listed here, but that's not necessarily who your service tech is going to be talking to.
Right.
Right. So you can add in a contact here, and it's going to go in as a secondary contact in QuickBooks. So I could always choose other and say that they're gonna contact Brad Pitt, who now is working at Pizza Hut, sadly enough. And then I can also put in a phone number for him. And so
okay, and when you choose other, will next time that I service Corvallis 3321, will Brad Pitt show up?
Yes, he will be in this list under the contacts, and I'll be able to check him. So that's how I did Jeff Williams, is I did it like this.
But it won't memorize it. You will always have to select the contact. So because I'm thinking of like, we do contract work for another company, and that company has hundreds of clients, and so or hundreds of jobs, if you will. Like I have hundreds of jobs in QuickBooks, and so that means that I have hundreds of contacts, so that when I go and select one of my jobs, then I will also have to filter through all the contacts?
Okay, so to answer your question, so that's Corvallis. Okay, let me go back. Let's go to Tigard. Okay, so you see how it saved this information from Tigard to Corvallis. If I was to do, let's say, any one of these, I can hit that down arrow, but if Jeff Williams is the main contact on this Corvallis job, he will pop up first. So if that's always my main contact, if that's the person I'm going to be talking to, I can get to that, or I can select him from the list. See, Brad's not in there because I didn't save him. So I can either make it a one-time contact, or I can make it a permanent contact. Is that answering your question?
Kind of. Okay, maybe we can go through this whole thing, and then maybe I can try to explain it a different way.
Okay. Okay. So let me put this information back in here, and let's see if that answers your question. So I'm going to go back to the Corvallis, the job location here, and I'm going to put in this phone number. And it may answer it by the next time we come up. Okay. So this is if I'm adding a contact now. So Brad is the one who called in. I'm putting in his phone number. I'm adding him in as a contact at this point for the Corvallis location. Okay. So I can choose whether or not this is invoiceable. So if I don't invoice from the field, or if it's a warranty job, or whatever it may be, I would not have this checked.
Got it.
I'm going to check it if I have that. And then if I have a PO number for the job, I'm going to go ahead and enter that here. And then that will go onto the invoice, and that will go back into QuickBooks. Okay. These other two fields here, they're custom fields. You can do like up to 30 custom fields per form. So if I just created two of them so you could get an idea. So if I wanted to capture something like this is the type of service, I can put some information in here like that we're doing a maintenance or whatever. I mean, I would normally capture that information on a different page, but the point is I'm just showing you that it's a custom field, and I can free type in here. Okay. I also can create a drop-down list. So like if I want to use something for marketing, how did you hear about us, radio ad, website, yellow pages, I can pick what that is. So those are a couple of different types of custom fields. So that's page one. Okay, so that's step 1 to do this. Let's go to step 2. Step 2, this is where, remember I was telling you all the customization that you have over in the settings? This
Right.
is where we start setting these up here. So if we have a category of installation, then I put in the services of what they did. So this is set up for a heating and air conditioning company. So for our install, we would install an air conditioner, gas furnace, whatever, and I can just select one. The third box is if I wanted to just do something quick, like don't let dog out, you know, or bring extra filters. Okay, again, keeping with the heating and air conditioning side. I can add multiple issues. So if I want to add on, we're also going to do a precision tune-up out there on their AC. So I can have multiple different things that are going on.
Okay.
This is also an option for a custom field. So if the customer's paying on site, again, I'm just giving you an idea of a custom field that you could have in there. Down here in this third section, we can look and see what the service activity has been in the past. So if we're servicing a specific piece of equipment, like their train AC, if I was to grab that, then I can see the work orders that have been done specifically on that train air conditioner. I also can look and see the work that's been done on that customer. So if I need to look at some history, I have that information right here. And then
now, will the prior history from QuickBooks from prior years show up here?
No, it will not. This is
Oh,
only
it won't.
No, this is only the history that you have in Field Service Management. So
Okay.
it's like you're starting from day 1.
Okay, so then we're only going to have to say that, you know, we decided we like the software and we go live in, I don't know, March of 2017. We would only have history from March 17 forward.
Correct. Now,
well, I've heard different answers on that. The first salesperson that I originally talked to said that it would be exported.
Okay, so that's what I was just going to say. It is not in there. You can bring information in to Field Service Management. There's 2 different ways that it can be done. One is you can bring in that information, like either copy it into the notes. There's some ways to do that. And you can also have it sync directly in. There's a fee to do that, to bring in the history, and it would have to be, you'd have to provide it to us in a format that we could sync into it. So if you could get all that information out of QuickBooks, like into an Excel spreadsheet, then yes, we can bring in the history.
Do you know if it can be done? Can QuickBooks format the data the way you guys want it to, so that it can sync in?
It depends on where you have it in QuickBooks.
Ah.
So right now, if it's just in your invoices, then no, there's not. I mean, there are different ways that we can get information out of QuickBooks. So if you're like, I want all the history, I'd have to see your QuickBooks to really be able to answer that question. So we have a product that we use called TPI that extracts information out of QuickBooks, and then we can put it into like an Excel spreadsheet. It may need to be massaged a little bit, but then we can take that Excel spreadsheet and then bring it in. So is it possible? Yes.
Okay.
It's not necessarily the easiest situation, and it is a little costly. And so you just have to figure out whether or not that's worth it. Okay?
Got it.
All right. So we kind of understand what's going on here. This is page 2, and I'm going to go ahead and say next, or step 2, excuse me. I'm going to say next. And it's going to say because a service is required. So what I had done is, remember, I had changed to the train AC, and I hadn't selected what we were going to do. So if I forget information, it's going to give me a pop-up, so that way we don't lose anything. Okay, so now I've got those all selected. And again, I can do different notes in here. So if I wanted to say, don't let the dog out, I could say dog bite or whatever, or do a garage code. Do you guys service residential as well as commercial, or do you just do one side or the other?
Commercial.
Okay, all right, so you may not have these kinds of issues coming up. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say next. That was step 2. Step 3, what I have here is, this is my whole scheduling portion. So I'm going to go ahead and schedule this call, and I'm going to do it my first available, which is today, and it's automatically going to start dropping the information in. So it puts it to the next half hour. So 4 o'clock is probably the soonest I get there. Now I'm going to tell my client that we're going to be there sometime between 4 and 5. Okay, so I have a range of time of when we're going to arrive. This priority was already set up in my customization based on the things that I chose in my problem in step 2.
Okay.
Also, the estimated duration of time was preset in the customization based on my problem. So based on the fact that I'm installing an air conditioner and I'm doing a no-cool, they've added that together and it's going to take 4 hours.
Perfect.
So there's a due by down here. If I get there at 5 o'clock and the job takes me 5 hours, it should be done by 10 o'clock.
So it automatically, yeah, okay, okay.
So you can set that stuff up automatically. Now, I inevitably have somebody say, well, what if it's a floater job and it just doesn't have to be done till the end of the month? That's fine. You can just change this and say, okay, it has to be done by the 28th. And all this does is give you reminders in field service management of when something is due. Also, if you have a multiple day job where you're going in and out, you have somebody who's going to go in and work for a few hours one day, and then a subcontractor is going to come in, and then he's going to go back the next day. I can put in that he's working like 100 hours on it, and it will span it across his week.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to go back and do 5 hours and 5 minutes. That's what they get. Okay. So we kind of understand how that works. Then
yes.
Down here, what I've got is I've got my list of my techs. One of the filters that I've chosen to put in here is the service tech filter. I have Eugene and I have Portland. So if you look and watch the list of the service techs, it changes. Boz works out of Portland, but he doesn't work out of Eugene. So I can split my service teams either based on skill or location or whatever I want to do. And then that way I don't end up assigning somebody to something that they don't do. I'm going to go ahead and give this to Jack, and it drops down to him, or I can drag and drop. Okay, that's step 3. Step 4 is just review and confirm. So if I have any additional information I need to put in here, like I need to add some notes, I can do that. If I need to change something or I realize I didn't put 2 people on there, I can do that and then finish. So that's how you create a work order. There's a lot of information in there. So I'm going to stop now because I know you guys have a series of questions. So how can I help answer questions?
So one of the questions that came up as we were using this project is several questions came up around alerts. Whether our technicians receive alerts when we change something or when we've issued a new work order.
Absolutely. So these are my people. This is my people tab. So these are my technicians, my managers, whatever. So on Jack, if I pull him up, I can see his alerts are here. I'm going to go in and edit this. And I have, right now, he is set up to get an alert every single time something happens that affects any job that he's working on or someone else is working on. So he's going to get a ton of alerts.
Okay, and by alerts, what we mean is, will the phone vibrate? Will the phone ding? Will the phone sound off an alarm is what we'd like? Like what?
Right,
what?
Great question. Is it going to bing them upside the head? Right, yeah. So what this is a pop-up on the app. So depending on the settings that they have on their phone, it can vibrate so that they get an alert.
So depending on the settings that they have on the app, maybe?
No, the settings that they have on their phone. So like
yeah, and so that that would mean that when you say the settings on the phone, the way that I usually set up alerts on any of my apps is I actually have to go into the actual app and make sure that I have allow notifications. Is that what we're talking about?
No, not necessarily. This is going to notify them inside the app. What I'm referring to more to, and what I'm hearing your question is it going to buzz them? Is it going to make a top of a list, an alert? It will automatically default to that. You would have to turn that off. have it not pop up on your phone.
No, so let me make sure I understand. So when say that we issue a new job to the tech, we do want it to buzz or make a noise that he has something in that app that's new. And you're saying yes, we can do that.
Yeah. So let's do this. I am going to have you go in as Jack. I'm going to give you the information. Do you have a smartphone with you right now?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Let's just look at this. Okay. If you can go to the Play Store and
we have the app downloaded.
You do. See, that's beautiful. Thank you. Okay, so on that first page, if you're already logged into a system, you need to log out of yours so you can log into mine.
Okay. I'll go ahead and log in.
Page.
I'll go ahead and log in.
Okay.
Okay. What username and password and company should I use?
Perfect. So you're going to use, the username is Jack, all lowercase.
Okay.
The password is EBS, all lowercase, 1234.
Okay.
And the company is lowercase EBS and then all uppercase HVAC for HVAC.
HVAC. Jack was the username, all lowercase, and the password was EBS123, all lowercase, correct?
EBS1234. I'm making sure because I just tried that myself and it didn't go in. So let me reset it.
Didn't work for me either. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the company is EBS, lowercase, and then uppercase HVAC, all together?
Correct.
And it says company not found.
Hang on, mine's not working either. Give me just a second. I may have to reset that password again. I think I've reset it too many times. Okay, I was able to get in. Try it again. Jack, and it's all lowercase EBS1234 is the password.
EBS1234. No, Jack. No. The company is EBS HVAC, correct?
Yeah, let me, here, let me pull up Word. That way you can see exactly how I have it written in case we're not being clear. So, Jack, EBS1234, and that's the lowercase e. And that made it uppercase 2, Jack. EBS. So just like that.
Okay, yeah, that's what I have. No space between the EBS and the HVAC?
Nope, there is a space.
Ah, that's what it is. Now it's saying invalid login.
Pardon? What does it say?
It says invalid login. EBS1234, EBS AC. No, it just says invalid login now.
I literally just logged into my phone with this exact same information.
All right, let me try it again. It is.
Log out.
Yes. Okay, I'm logged in.
Okay, good. All right. So when you logged in, did you have an alert pop up immediately?
No.
Okay. So what I want you to do is there should be what looks like a sync. So it might be, since you're on an iPhone, yours looks different. I'm on a Droid, but there should be a way to sync the information.
So if I just refresh this screen, I think, right? Yeah, I'm trying to refresh the screen, but nothing is happening.
You're trying to refresh the screen and nothing's happening.
Yeah.
Do you have a menu? Like it can either be 3 dots or 3 lines.
I have 2 things that I can do. Well, it has obviously the drop-down menu with alerts, emergency apps. I mean, right. Appointments, waiting for pickup, picked up, completed today, non-primary work. All of those, or 4 of those items have arrows because there's, you know, pending items or something to do there. And then there's a button at the very bottom that will allow me to refresh. And then another button that will allow me to create a work order, a time card, find work order, show my day, log out, and cancel. Those are the only options I have.
Okay. So so do you see in your alerts, which is at the very top, do you see a 2 or do you not even see the alert part?
I have a 0.
Okay. So yeah, it's just needing to refresh with the system because I have 2 alerts on mine. So let's bypass that now because it'll come in a minute. The alerts will, and I know that's your main question, but let's talk a little bit about the mobile app. So the appointments, if you click on that, where anything that has an arrow next to it means there's more information to get into. Okay. So if you click on the app, appointments, excuse me, it'll show you a list of the calls. There should be 2 or 3 calls on there.
Okay. Yes, I see those.
Okay. The waiting for pickup is a status that all work orders start in. So normally what I do when I'm customizing this for a client, I don't have waiting for pickup, picked up. I take those 2 out because they're a duplication of appointments. Okay, so it's the same it's the same information, but it's just being duplicated. The one that's interesting down at the bottom is the non-primary work. If you click on that, this is if I was a secondary on a job. So if I have 2 people working on a job, so let me pull up, I'm going to pull up work order 0046. Give me a second. On the screen, you can see that my primary service tech is Franklin. My secondary is Jack.
Okay, nice.
So I could have 2 people on it if I need to. Have your alerts come in yet? I'm curious.
No, not yet.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So I guess now that we're here, when the alerts do come in and say that my app is not, well, it's running. Say that my app is running. Will my phone vibrate or shake or make a sound?
Again, it has to do with the phone setting. So what you were talking about before, where you have to go into the notifications and turn it on, it depends on how you have your phone set up. So that is something that we would make sure everybody's, like especially if they're all business phones, we would have them all set up from the beginning that it vibrates every time a notification comes in from Field Service Management.
Okay.
If that's what you chose to have it do.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All of my notifications are turned on the data, so I'm hoping that if when the alerts do come in, that it'll somehow do that.
So if the answer to your question is, can it do that? The answer is yes, it can do that. We just have to make sure everything's turned on in the correct places. Okay. So like mine, when I got this alert, my phone buzzed because I have it turned on.
Okay. Okay. Is the same true for the service management dispatch board, where if the techs send her a flag on something, that an alert pops up for her?
Okay, so now you're talking about the dispatch board. If somebody in the field puts a flag on a job for the office, is that what you mean?
Yeah, like they put a flag on the job, like they say needs quote or needs parts.
Mm-hmm.
Will we get sort of like Bing notification, look at this, or?
Okay, let me show you. So I'm opening up the dispatch board, and you can see right now I have no flags on this, okay? So I'm going to open up, I'm Jack right now, we're both signed in, son. I'm going to open up one of these jobs, and
I just mean that I'm out of the out of range area for some reason.
Are you like inside of a brick building, or do you have location turned on your phone?
Yeah, I have locations turned on my phone.
Okay. And it may be that we're both logged into it. So I can log out of mine, but let me show you what I did really quick. So hang on a second. I set a flag on this job, this 0056. I'm going to force a refresh in the office, and our flag is going to show up. And then I can hover over it and see that I have need approval. Or I can set up my dispatch board to show me exactly why I got a flag.
Okay, so then really we don't get an instant notification. We have to do a manual refresh and then just watch how the board changes.
No, you set that up in the settings. I forced a manual refresh for training purposes today. It will in your settings, if you go into here and show how often you want to do a polling, then it will let you know how often that you need to have that information come in. So let's see here. There's a couple different places. There's like 3 different places that you set it up. So you can decide if you want it to come in every 5 minutes, every 15 minutes, every, whatever you wanted to do.
Can it go, can you set it up that we receive it once it's sent to us or once it's updated? Instead of every 5 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, you can do it every minute. Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, you can do it as often as you want to. My point is you would set up how often do you want it to go out and ding the, go out and look for the information. So that's really kind of, that's really up to you of how often you want it to go out. So there's like 3 or 4 different places. So I have a refresh interval here on my dispatch board of every 5 minutes. I can edit that, and it looks like 5 minutes is the shortest time I can go.
Every 5 minutes. Okay, and then so every 5 minutes, this dispatch board syncs with the mobile text or the mobile software, and if they were, so then if there is any changes or if they do flag something, we will just see a flag, correct? There's not like, I don't know, anything that pops up that says something's been flagged. No.
Not in the office, no. If I'm in the office, I'm not going to necessarily have something like an alert show up on my screen that it was flagged. But if I'm looking at my dispatch board, which we recommend that you have 2 screens, you have one screen that you're doing work orders out of, and you have another screen that has the dispatch board. I mean, you can easily see that. I mean, you can see that that flag is there.
Yeah. Okay, I see. Okay. And then so that was that alert. And then on the same page.
This is the other place with the alerts. I wanted to show you. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I wanted to show you also you can set reminder alerts here under alert settings. You can do not any more than 5 alerts to one individual. We send alerts every 1 minute, 2 minutes. I mean, so there's a lot of places you can set alert information.
Alerts, okay. And then regarding alerts, again, with, I'm not sure how the software handles that, but say that we had a customer on a credit hold and we couldn't service that customer because they have a credit hold, and so we went up to type a work order. Is there anything that says don't service this credit hold?
So you have like a do not use type thing because you're not.
Yeah, like do not service. Say
okay.
Burger King is past $10,000 and so they're on a credit hold, but you know, then they call in, you know, they don't know, the person, the on-site contact doesn't know that they're on hold. They call in and schedule a service. We start to schedule it. Is there something that the system will say, you know, alert or something, don't service credit hold?
The system itself does not have something like that, but what I would recommend in that case is you can do one of two things. First of all, I'd have clients that put like a DNW in front of the customer name. That's not my favorite, like do not use, because then you can just go ahead and enter them again and have no idea that that was there. What you could do is use those custom fields that I showed you from the beginning, and so it would be right there on that main page. So when I do a new work order and I do Pizza Hut, I could have it right here, you know, do not use, you know, or do not, you know, credit hold or something. And then I'm going to see that.
Right. That can stay permanent. That wouldn't change.
Correct. That's not going to change until I change it. So when I pulled this up, so if I cancel this, remember how I started to put maintenance in there last time?
Right.
If I pull up Pizza Hut and select it, see that's in there. It saved what I had from last time.
Right.
Okay. And then I wanted to show you on Corvallis. Remember how I did Corvallis last time? Oh, I didn't save. That's my fault. Dang it, I forgot to save that. I apologize. Let me do this again really quick. I can add Brad Pitt. I didn't come over here and add him to save him, so he would come up. So I'm going to go ahead and say OK. And let me just do another quick order really quick. So I'm going to just put Brad Pitt in there. Okay. Someday somebody's going to actually try to call Brad Pitt at that office and not understand why. Okay, let me do a second job. And I'm just going to pull this one down here. Okay, next. And finish. Because I wanted to be able to show you that I had done that. So, search. So now, if I select my service, Corvallis, Brad Pitt is there. I can select him from my drop-down menu. So I can either make it a one-time or I can add him in as a permanent contact and select him from my list.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So back to the credit hold, yes, that's exactly where I would use the custom fields to be able to do that.
All right. Is there, oh, you got a number.
Is there a lag time on between the mobile and the desktop site for an update on the work order? Like, how come we haven't received the alerts yet?
So I think it's because we're both in it. That's what I was starting to tell you. So let me log out of mine and see if it makes a difference, because I'm getting every alert. So I'm going to log out and see if that helps you be able to start doing that. So try doing a refresh again. I think it's because it's trying to ding us in 2 different locations, and I logged in because I wanted to be able to see what you were seeing. And I had that happen to me once before.
Okay, yeah, I'm still not getting anything.
Give the system a few seconds to refresh. But as far as the normal time, it's less than 5 minutes because that's what we set it to. So I had mine immediately, and I think it's because I logged in first, and so it picked up my location.
I'm wondering if I should log out and then log back in.
It might work better.
I'm going to log out and then I'm going to log in.
Yeah, because see, it's, oh wait, hang on, look, it's showing you in Fremont. It just grabbed you. 4:19 a minute ago.
Okay, so I'm logged in.
So it knows where you are. And let me change something on one of these. So I'm going to edit this job here. Actually, let's go edit it different. Let's do Jack. Let me change this one. I'm going to try to force the notification to you. I'm going to give you a job at 1 a.m. Are you okay with that?
Okay, that's all right. And then while you're doing that, one of the really big things for us that we've worked pretty hard in our current QuickBooks software is to hide parts and labor time and just send the client a lump sum. So we create groups in QuickBooks to do that. Will this field service software have the ability to do that? We sent ourselves a test invoice, but it pretty much lists every detail, and we try to avoid that because when we do that, we have clients asking 1,000,001 questions about billing, and so we just historically have grouped the labor and the materials parts together into one lump sum. At least that's what's shown to the client. Behind the scenes, it's broken out.
Yeah, that's a great question. Okay, so I'm going to answer that by saying that what you can do is, one of the things that I will do with some of my clients is we create what's a flat rate price book because they don't want the client seeing all the details. So that list is your items list in QuickBooks. And so what we can do is we can set that up to where the client's going to see all of the detailed information. So I can either break things apart individualized, right?
Yeah,
or
so that's,
I can have a flat rate, or I can have a flat rate book where it's just, you know, I have an oil furnace and it's just $249. It doesn't break out labor and parts and all the other things.
Yeah, the flat rate pricing probably won't work for us right now, but what we do is, say we go out to the field and install a hose. Currently in QuickBooks, there is a group set up. Sometimes it happens two ways. There is a group set up that includes the labor and the materials. Everything is itemized, is behind the scene, but the client just sees one lump sum. Or there's just a labor item, which is fine, and then we just group the parts and materials together so that the client sees their labor time and in one lump sum and the parts and materials in one lump sum. We can do that here too?
Yes, it has to, and I'm saying yes because what it does is it has to do with how you have it set up in QuickBooks. So this list comes over as it's set up from QuickBooks.
And then you have the ability to hide it and itemize?
Not the way you're asking. If, in other words, if it's set up to be, so like for example, I can bring this equipment over here, and I can have everything under this particular price. So I can have this set up as $5,000, right? And I don't have to list anything else out. But if I add labor, parts, materials, permits, and all of that stuff, then it's going to show up. So it has to do with how you set it up in QuickBooks first. I can't then group it in Field Service Management. But if it's grouped
the way that it works right now, the only way that it's working right now in QuickBooks is because QuickBooks has this feature where you create groups, and that's how it hides it.
Right. And so that feature, what you're talking about, is available in QuickBooks. That is not available in Field Service Management. So you'd set up your item codes differently if you wanted to group them together. And that's why I brought up the flat rate book, because that's a way to do exactly what you're asking for and put it in as one lump sum, so they don't see that breakout.
Oh, so because the nature of every job repair is so different from us, so virtually almost every call that we encounter is different in one way, shape, or form. So really, it's very rare that we have two calls that are exactly the same. That's why the flat price would not work. It sounds like if we wanted to hide the pricing, we would almost have to create an item for every invoice we did.
Actually, the other option that I have here is what you would do is have these items. You see how they have zero pricing? I don't have to list every one of these. I can list this and this. So if I wanted to do an invoice, let's actually do one. Let's go do an invoice, and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so if I wanted to add charges onto this invoice, I could, and this, see, I have all of these non-inventory items. I have all kinds of stuff in my book. But if I didn't want to break this out to the clients, I can add in labor and parts and materials. Okay, so it's just going to say labor and parts and materials. And then I can put in my full labor bill, it's 500, and my parts and materials were like, you know, 275.
Okay. And
I
historically, we were operating in this fashion probably a year ago. However, we now have inventory in place. And so we had to stop operating this way and break down all of our parts and materials so that it pulls accurately from our inventory.
Right. So that's the other thing. These are listed as non-inventory parts, but if this is inventory and you're actually selling that, then yeah, you have to have that directly on there for it to affect your inventory correctly. So you could, in this particular case, not have, you know, this line. You could have just labor, and I'm calling it labor. It can be named whatever you want it to be.
Right,
so
right.
You know, installation of train, blah, 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 or whatever. And then you have the price on the train.
Okay. And so say that aside from the train, there was 4 other items. There is no way to group or hide those 4 other items and show a lump sum?
No, not in Field Service Management.
Oh, wow.
So if you had these multiple details in here, so if you had to have, like, they did a heating and then they did, I don't know, I'm grabbing, nobody would ever do 3 heat pumps, but let's just say we're doing those different things. There's no way to group this all into one price.
Yeah, so exactly. So this is a great example of something that we would do. You know, we could say install a compactor. After we install the compactor, there would be, yes, 3, let's just say 3 different parts as you have listed. What we currently do in QuickBooks is, sure, we'll show the labor time for the installation of, say, the train, and then the parts, the pump, the speed air conditioner, and all of those 3. Those would be lumped up into one sum.
Right, and I understand what you're saying. There is not a way to do that in Field Service Management. However, and that's one of the reasons why what they do is I have clients that will track their work orders in Field Service Management, but then do their invoicing out of QuickBooks. So that's another option, but I mean, you need to be able to track the inventory, and because you have to track the inventory line by line, it is going to be listed out on the invoice. So there's not a way to group it together. There's not a way to do this point.
Okay. Okay. How do clients decide to invoice in QuickBooks? How does that work?
So they basically use Field Service Management for scheduling or doing their work orders for tracking the information. And then if you're not accepting money in the field, so if you're not getting a payment in the field, then you have that work order that's done, and then you just invoice straight out of QuickBooks. So there's just different ways that that can be done, and that's something that we could, if that's something that you really were interested in, we could go through the different options on that. But that's kind of, it is an option to do it. That's a little bit more detailed than I have set up for you for right now, other than just looking at the,
I mean, there's not even a way to customize the template that's inside the Intuit Field Service software just to hide I know QuickBooks has templates, and you can just like make the text a white color to hide specific things. There's no way of doing that.
That's what you're saying. So no, there's really not. There are only 4 templates that you can print from. So.
And you can't customize these.
No, they're not customizable at all.
All right. Okay.
So that's, again, one of the reasons why if you have something specific you do with your invoices, then we recommend you use QuickBooks, because you can customize it there.
Got it. Okay. Okay, I think that answers most of the questions we had.
Okay. So what you can do, just to kind of answer that in kind of a nutshell, you could still create your invoice in Field Service Management, and then when you do your sync, you can have it brought over into QuickBooks, so the information is brought back, and then you would just change the invoice template that you were using. So you could print it out of QuickBooks and then send it. Because if those items are grouped in QuickBooks, they're not going to show on the invoice. But they would show on the invoice if you invoiced directly from Field Service Management, like gave that to a client, emailed it from there. But if you sync it back over, you can email it out of QuickBooks. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so we'd still create the invoice in Intuit Field Service software, and then sync it over to QuickBooks. It'll take, what information will sync over? So
this information right here on the invoice, so that $9,000 invoice that I just filled out, this is what's going to sync back over. And then when you have it in when you have it back in QuickBooks, you can group those items together.
And if obviously if ever we wanted to look at the work order and all of that, that's obviously still in the Field Service Manager. The only thing we'd go to QuickBooks for is the invoicing piece.
Correct. That's correct.
Okay. Okay. And then we would so say that we don't use QuickBooks to invoice, and we use Intuit Field Service Manager to invoice. Where do we record the payment? Are the payments still being recorded in QuickBooks?
Good question. So when you take a payment here, so if I was to take a payment for this, I have different ways that I can pay. I would sync with, if you have Intuit Merchant Services, you can sync this directly with that account, and it'll bring in, so I can run the Discover card here and capture this information. And then when I sync all of this over to QuickBooks, which I would do traditionally every morning or every evening, kind of depending on what your business protocol is. When I sync that back over, it's going to bring over the invoices paid as well as bring over the payment amount.
Okay. All right. All right. I think that answers all the questions we had and the allotted time we had for that.
Yeah. Well, I hope I was able to clear some things up. I I really, it's important to me when working with people that I'm very clear about what it can do and what it can't do.
Thank you for that. It's a very helpful for us to be able to assess whether it's something that we can do or won't work. So,
Right.
yeah, that's just something we have to take back to the rest of the team and continue the demo. We want to finish out the demo for a couple more days and see how we like it. I mean, so far we like everything it does. It definitely will streamline our operations. We just got to see how we can fit it into how we do business now.
Sure. I understand that. Well,
All
Emilio
right.
and Michelle were fairly quiet, but I trust that they were in the room.
all the information.
They were taking a lot of notes.
I bet. Well, and the reason why I had you kind of go into that mobile app is it really helps if you can look at it and look at how it interacts with different things. And we didn't get to get into that very much, but you're able to see more probably in mine than you are in yours, because mine's synced with a demo file.
Right, exactly. I think so too. Yeah. The alerts did come through, so.
Good. I assumed they had, or I would have heard about it again.
Yeah, no, that they did come through. It's just the phone didn't ding or anything, but again, it's probably because you said it has to do something with the my settings.
The phone settings. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So mine show up at the top of my screen. So like if
on your, like a banner or something.
Yep, mine show up as banners. Mm-hmm.
Huh. Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, we'll have to look into that if we can play around with that a little bit more tomorrow.
Okay. So I am going to change that password.
We appreciate your time
Yeah,
today.
I am going to change that password just so you don't go in and start changing all my work orders, because you know.
Oh yeah. No, please. Yeah, we have the demo one that we'll use for tomorrow.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Well, if you have any further questions, please feel free to email me. Okay.
Okay. Will do. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.